All right, so don't have much on tasks today. Kind of just, I guess we'll just go over the past 5 days, kind of like the last 5 days, go over some options. And, tomorrow, I don't expect much on futures tomorrow. Most prop firms don't cause the day anyways. But let's go ahead and just look at ES. So we started from Monday. The class Monday had a nice move up. What I was looking for on this nice move up, we had that downtrend break. So just chart basically last week. See the things we could see. So the downtrend break, we had a nice push up. I was kind of watching the swing low to swing high fib retracement. We never made it back down into it, which is just overall showing tons and tons of strength. We had, we were watching going into this downtrend. We're also watching this kind of CPI. Actually, let me switch that. The CPI FOMC downtrend. Right here, we really didn't break down that much, only held basically overnight, one day underneath, but pretty nice, decent, strong breakout. You could also take this and kind of make it horizontal. And I was definitely watching this. If we were able to break down from this level, we're going to see us come back down to this level, which we held, and then always, come back down to this triple top right here. And this was the game plan. ES was this level. We broke down this level. We broke down this level. This was our kind of our balance area. We broke out, retested it. I always like to draw boxes around kind of the balance areas. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 4 days, 5 days. Nice sideways action. There's our breakout. We broke out with force. We had single prints down here, which single prints are just on the 30-minute. Basically just 30-minute fair value gaps. That day, the price didn't go, so we had single print here, which was our main one. And single prints just show, very strong strength. Usually the next day, if it's a single print, there in market hours, we have a 90% chance if we do come down and test it, that we will hold. So usually, the beginning of the day, I always post single prints. I always include them in my charts. Use that statistic to your advantage. Most of the time, if we have them made in a strong, decent move, 90% of the time they're going to hold the next day, usually, because that's the main objective of buyers. The next day is that single print. So that was our breakout. Of course, when we break out, you can even go to the weekly and kind of look at it. This is how I get a lot of options. Weekly doesn't show it because it was a pretty quick, big breakout, but here on the daily it does. There's our sideways 1, 2, 3, 4 days up. Nice controlled sideways down. On a sell-off, on a red days like this, you definitely want to see if the overall market is controlled. This just seems like controlled, manipulated. Days like this, yeah, these are more of a sell-off. This one, you're just waiting for that reversal, and you could tell once we hit that reversal, we created new highs. Even looking at it on that 1 hour, just slowly chop. Every little dip got bought up. Every little dip got bought up. Pretty simple sell off, just waiting for that down, that basically flag to break. So here you can tell, here's our single prints on that 30-minute. You can tell we came down, filled them in basically 43.68 and a half our low was 43.68.5. So we filled in those single prints to the tick. So definitely when I post those, use those to your advantage. We did create some new ones. I'll go over Motive Wave and show single prints a little bit easier to see. We did create a few in this. I think this was overnight. We created overnight one somewhere. But we came back down, cleaned up those single prints. You know, overall the market wants to be balanced. Every move up, you see, we'd have a move down. We fill in. Really rarely leave gaps. We really rarely leave fair value gaps or price imbalances. The market overall wants to be balanced. So let's go back to charting on Monday. So we had Monday. Yeah, because we did the class Monday. We're just kind of watching these key levels. If we were going to hold this one, we could see continuation up. If we're going to hold this one, see continuation up. Basically every morning I said watch on that 1 hour. If we create a higher, I'm pretty sure I marked this up last Monday. We're creating a lower high every single time. This one we kind of got into, but this is where I want to see. I would like to see the body close above. And there's our last one. Of course, the body didn't close above, but here we start right here. We created a higher low. That's the beginning of our trend reversal. So took out 1, 2, 3, basically 3 pivots on one strong push up. As soon as sellers saw that, they're able to take advantage of it. We had Monday or Tuesday was that nice break. Of course, let's kind of look at a smaller time frame on what happened Monday. Do a 5 minute. We'll stick to the 5 minute and an hour. Monday seemed like at 8:30. What I always do is every single day I mark up my opening print. So at 9:30, I always mark that out. So just seeing the hold of that opening print showed overall strength. All these bottom wicks, this 5 minute, you can see all these bottom wicks showing buying strength, buying strength, buying strength. Eventually, showing all that, sellers kind of basically gave up, went all the way up. That was pretty much it for Monday. I would have liked to see kind of that high taken out, but it didn't take out that high, so I was still watching it for the next day. So we go ahead and erase all Monday. So there's Monday. Tuesday was just basically overnight. Tuesday we opened up and held that so Tuesday we opened up, created a higher low, held that opening print, and basically had a pretty strong move up. Something I always tell people is how do you tell it's trending? And we'll look at today on how today was chop and horrible. Is what I usually do is put up those EMAs. You could use whatever EMAs you want. The ones I prefer is the 13 and the 34 on the 10-minute time frame, which is just Ripster's EMA clouds, which his stuff's pretty good. But the only problem with this is you have to keep it on the 10-minute to actually get that cloud. And as long as we're riding that cloud up, I'm gonna turn the ones I have off. We rode this, look at this beautiful uptrend, rode it all the way up. The only time I probably would have looked to get out was a breakdown here. But then, that 10-minute didn't even close underneath it. Would have been around here, 3 o'clock. So there was no reason to, if you're holding this trade, a lot of people in the Discord play NQ. We'll look at NQ too. because NQ showed its cards a little bit better, but that cloud rode up. Looking for. So that's something I like to do. EMAs and of course VWAP. Nice move up. Basically, buyers just kind of gave up 44.24. Pretty good level. Didn't really want to get that 44.27, which was that big last pivot from Thursday. But you can tell that finally hit here on Wednesday. Go ahead and mark up Wednesdays. Wednesday we opened up towards the low. .30 a.m. Markup open. You can tell these opening prints. Markup up on NQ and ES. You could get some good scalps. With this 10-minute, we held over it, held over again, held over again. That's just overall showing strength. Where we at here? Basically, from open here, all we had was a decent move up. Kind of flagged. You'll see us a lot during lunch at 11 to 12 to 1. You just have that flag, that boring consolidation. That's why a lot of times it's good time not to sit around at lunch. Something I'm trying to work on is to not be here at lunch. Made a move up. Finally broke that pivot. Sold off pretty well. From low to high, I don't think we retraced like we should have. Yeah, we definitely broke straight through. Slow to high, same thing, kind of broke straight through. So pretty decent sell-off. Basically closing. Where did we close? No, we had a nice push at close. We had a squeeze at close. And from 1 to 3, nothing happened. We just had another chop box. Eventually broke out end of day, but most people, when you see this chop, you're just like, it's not worth it. You definitely missed that end of day move. Wednesday was basically I'm pretty sure Isaac was talking about it. He basically took the same trades on NQ. We just had like a downtrend going into open. It seems like, I'm not saying that it was easy, but it seemed like NQ and ES, we definitely had some nice moves there today. Consolidation overnight, move up during market hours. That kind of just resets the RSI, doesn't make the, overall strong. Market strong. Let's see where we opened. I think we opened at the highs. We sold off in open. Actually, we didn't have a downtrend in open. Sold off in open. 9:30 right here. Once again, holding that opening print. Nice move up. What I like to do is take that first impulse move up, retracement back down, take that fib. Taking this fib. Here to here. Nice strong move up. We usually trace back into that golden zone and take another one. I like doing scalps where I kind of buy in between this golden zone and kind of keep my stop loss a little bit here. We're going over this, I think, on the week 1 or week 2 of this. Where these actually end up being like, it's only 3.3 R. Most of them ended up being 8 or 9 R. Kind of same thing with here. Swing low to swing high. Almost came back and retraced. But definitely a nice move up. That was Thursday. And then Friday was nice. Just overall huge strong move to the upside. We opened Friday 8:30. So we had a decent data at Friday 8:30. But data, usually I like to kind of do the fib. I do fibs a lot on data. I like to see it come back down into that area or come back down to where we bought. I'd be watching this area and this area, showing that we didn't get down at all, just showing overall strength. Friday, basically the same thing from that 10 to 12. We had our strong move up, and we just flagged that boring lunch. Believe it, I alerted down here that shorts were getting trapped. We only had a 10-point range here, and there's a lot of negative delta. So overall showing strong selling, but they're being absorbed by buyers, so that doesn't show in volume, just shows in delta. Only sellers were only able to take the market down 10 points. Finally give up. Decent overall move up. Friday was strong trend day. Today was pretty boring. I'm biased a little bit to the downside because I think we need one red day, one kind of reset day to make a move up. What I like to do how I figure those out is how many days we close above previous day close. So we're on 3 days. Close above 2, 3. When we get to 3 to 4, that's when I start looking kind of to the downside. Right here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can tell we had 1, 2, 3. There's our reset. 1, 2. So usually you don't see 4 red days in a row. 5 red days in a row. You always kind of want to see a reset and then continuation up. NQ. I'm going to erase drawings. Let me see what I saw on NQ. NQ, basically we had those same levels. The FOMC, FOMC CPI low, that kind of triple top. And those were like basically the 2 main levels I was watching. The downside, Monday opened with a strong move up. Strong sell-off. I don't remember any data. I'm trying to remember the data we had last week. Strong sell-off. Kind of held that, kind of our breakout level. 1, 2, 3. We broke out. Never came back down and tested. So you just kind of wait for that retest. There's our retest. We broke above. Down to 5 minute. Just look at Monday. Monday was kind of a sell day. Here's kind of a hold of that opening print. Hold of the opening print. Couldn't make a new high. Finally fell below. Kind of use it as a resistance. Came down. Nothing really crazy Monday. Tuesday, when we have levels to the downside, always watch your levels to the upside. Over that 14,963, we kind of had that. I think we marked up. Let's mark it up these on the 1 hour. Yeah, we had this one. Of that level. Basically just play level to level. You don't have to overcomplicate things. Pretty nice move up. We didn't take over that recent swing high. We finally took it out here. What happened Tuesday? Or are we on Wednesday? I think we're on Tuesday. Tuesday we opened up basically at overnight lows. Never came back and retested that opening print. Overall showing pretty strong strength. That first impulse move up. Take that fib. You can tell we held that fib. No closes below it on the 5 minute. Bunch of wicks. Creating another impulse move. We could take this fib. That beautiful touch. You know, your main PT would be that new high. New high created. And down it went. Kind of an M formation. You see a lot of times these formations do happen. Basically, a good entrance would be, that's your safest one. Would have taken this one. That one, the break of that would have been really nice. Overall, Wednesday, a lot of back and forth. Wednesday was crazy. Thursday seemed like a more of a sell day. We opened up. Yeah, we sold off in the open. Kind of just hung out. Nothing really happened Thursday. .100 range. Probably on ES was even worse. And then, of course, Friday, 8:30 data. We opened up. Another strong move up. Kind of take that 9:30, that first impulse move up. I bet you this hit the fib. Hit that golden zone. Continued up. Today, ES was boring. NQ kind of rallied end of day. I'll show you what I saw. Basically, had this level. The gap up. 1, 2, support. Finally broke below. Test as resistance. Finally showed a little strength end of day. Nice, decent move up. Nothing crazy happening today. Definitely, probably nothing going to be happening tomorrow. We'll just look over some options that we talked about last week. Apple was one of those big ones. Beautiful swing. You know, I do alert in on these Zillow swings, kind of new. I do trade options, but they just want my swings. So we're kind of looking at what I do is kind of longer term levels. You know, fibs on these. We're just looking for that chop right here, broke above. Retested it, I believe. I alerted it kind of right here. And I was basically just looking for that 190.94, which is a 3 trillion market cap. But of course, overnight they had a big PT raise. You know, overall looking at Apple, huge mover up. That's why NQ is going. AMD, kind of watching AMD. Finally filled the gap on the daily, showing a little strength. What I'm kind of watching is this 116 level. Resistance or support. Rejected today. Amazon got a swinger in this one. Just holding on. If it does come back down to this 127, I'm definitely going to average down. Kind of had a false breakout today on the half day, which was, I don't even know why they even did a half day today. Google's on watch. I think I posted about Google on watch. Watching for its downtrend. Meta's also on watch. Had a false breakout. Kind of same thing, 289 level. Microsoft is also on watch for me. That swing low to swing high came up. Should have been right here though. Low to high or high to low. Rejected there. So if it does hold here, I'm looking for it kind of to here. Also, probably gonna start doing some debit spreads on Robinhood, just because I've been kind of liking Robinhood lately. Kind of longer swinger debit spreads, kind of just basically. I'm not saying easy money, but nice little passive income just to hold swingers. Microsoft kind of looking for. I'm bullish till September, so overall trying to stay bullish till September. Nvidia. Here's this kind of same level we had on AMD, but this was, look at this support. Look how beautiful supports. We broke down, retested it, finally broke above. Possibly looking for this 420 retest up into that dark pool level. And then Tesla. Last time they had delivery numbers, they fell off big time. I'm kind of watching that. Our old swinger Rivian. I just noticed this one today. I mean, just simple TA, support, resistance. Kind of a false breakout where I trimmed it. False breakdown. I wonder what my last one is at. Should be pretty solid. False breakdown, false breakout. Pretty crazy how that looks. And especially, you know, since I do trade micros, this is kind of the bigger picture I look for on ES. Is I kind of look for those key level break and retests. And I'm gonna go to ES1. Make things a little easier. You just kind of find, you know, levels that are former resistance, former supports that we broke out, came down. I'm not the biggest fan of taking the breakouts. I'm more of the patient person to wait for that retest. Because I feel like you take the breakout, it's a little bit more risky. You could get faked out right here. You only get 76 points here. If you waited for that retest, we didn't really hit it all the way, but close enough, I'd say. You know, basically double. So that's what I mean, I've watched Isaac's Zooms lives, and it's just crazy to me to play the breakouts. I always wait for that little retest of a breakout to get in. That's just my personal the way I do things. Right here we also had the breakout, but of course, wait for the retest. I'm sure that retest would have been greater. You go through ES and find these every single where. This is kind of where I get my bias, kind of helps me with my bias, kind of previous levels of support, previous levels of resistance. So support came down, became resistance. There's your breakout. Yeah, decent money. You waited for that retest. Better money. Same thing here. Breakout. Came back, retest. Continuation. This is where, you know, when I start overcomplicating futures, as I do, sometimes I get into the delta and all this crazy stuff. I kind of take a step back and I just go this route. And this kind of helps me reset my thinking to just keep it simple. Yeah, I'd kind of, so, you know, I do the this cloud, and if we do break it down, this is January 1st, so it's kind of gonna have to go back on it. Let's go a 15-minute because I don't think it's gonna show in a 5-minute. We'll just go to Yeah, you could break it down, then you kind of just see where those key levels are. You know, you have that one was a pretty good one. This one could have been. Yeah, I mean, especially when I'm trading micros, like when I'm getting in 39.74. I mean, it's 10 points, not that crazy of a deal. But what I'm looking for is kind of that change of structure, where you can tell right here we're making lower lows, lower lows. So right here we finally broke this previous high. It was kind of like ICT, but I don't really follow their exact meaning. So we break that. What I'm looking for is kind of not us to come all the way down and break this low. And that's where I'd start to look to go in. So right here, 1045, look to go in with a nice, 4 micros, 150. If we go here, keep that stop down here at the low. Because you'll see most of my alerts are new low a day. You always see them stop new low a day. And that's just the way, that's given 17R. The time, 6 p.m. The close would have been, 8R. So I love those reversals where, take it here. Obviously, that's the perfect entry. I could have taken it here, still 4.33R, and then I always have a stop loss new low day. And if it does break through, it breaks through, and then, our trend is basically still down. And so what I'm looking for is kind of a retest of this level and then a continuation down. So we'll have our strong move up, consolidation down. And you always see kind of a reversal like that. It's basically, a lot of people would just do the bull flag. It's a bull flag. Shop kind of showed it. You have that strong impulse move up here, and then you have your consolidation, and then it comes back down. We always come back down to a demand or a key level. It seems like it always happens. On ES, what do we come down to? That key level right here. So we're making higher lows, lower lows. So whatever. I always get those mixed up. We're making lower highs and lower lows. Finally, right here on Tuesday. Tuesday was probably the best day to go to switch your bias to long. And they're finally making our trend up. And you can tell once it finally hit that we're making higher highs and higher lows. I mean, buyers took it. And, they've been taking it pretty strong. So once that trend changed, everyone hops on board. Let's go over to Motive and kind of see what that looks like. I'm trying to. So Motive Wave is just. Been trying to research more into what bid and ask is and all that. I know it's, you buy, ES on the quarter, and you have that bid and ask. And they're separate, of course. One gets filled more than the other. So when I'm looking at this, we had, this was actually, I think I had right here. On this left side, we have our 5-day delta. If we zoom out, hopefully this is showing for y'all. Yeah. 5-day delta, what stands out here? This huge negative delta area. So I'm kind of seeing, if sellers are able to break below, because we haven't, pop up the hour. That was kind of our breakout level. We're on Friday, June 30th. Yeah, Friday, where he came back and down and retested. So it would be 44.82. So if we pop up the chart, how we had a nice push. We sold off kind of in the open. And what do we hold? 44.82. So overall, there is a ton of negative delta. What I like to think of about negative delta is, just because, these big guys are selling or buying, are they being rewarded for buying or selling? So when I look at when I'm looking at this, minus 21,000. So that's the difference from the bid and ask on this level. That's a big negative delta. But are sellers able to get rewarded for selling here? And so far, they haven't. They're kind of trapped, which was probably the MOC right here, which had a lot to do with it. Today, what did we do? We had that data 8:30. Dropped this down to 15 minutes, so it makes a little more, looks a little better. That data 8:30, wick below, came back up, held it, basically at open, and just that slow grind up. So just knowing that negative delta was there was a good risk reward. How to stop below, because if I think sellers would have taken that, had control of that, they would have been able to push the market down. So buyers were all about trying to absorb every selling in this area to drive the price up. Something I'm trying to watch videos on. Whole delta bid ask is a little bit new to me, but the concepts I use are pretty simple. So that's that 5-day delta. This was on the right is market open only. So this at 9:30, you can tell where's our negative delta down here. So when I see it down here, I'm like, if they're selling down here, are they being rewarded? What do we see here? If we turn the delta off on the first one, and just go to candlesticks and looking at this, are they being rewarded for selling? No, they're in the wicks. So this big area 44.84 to 44.85, they couldn't even close a 15-minute candlestick into it. That's showing overall strength. If it was a normal day, would have definitely been a good squeeze. I think the squeeze happened on NQ. That was showing that definitely helped. Data imbalance. Here's our data imbalance. We just had an imbalance of bid and ask here on the delta. Usually we come back, test the imbalance, kind of push our way up. But overall, showing that, I need to start putting that in my pre-market. You can tell what happened at the highs. Pretty decent positive delta, which is showing buying at the highs. Were buyers rewarded for buying at the highs? No. So we kind of sold off into close. Had that big, weird sell-off, and I think it was after market close. Maybe we closed at 1 today. So that's something I love to watch. If we pop up on the 1 hour, let's see how this looks. So the main thing I'd like to see on this is what's happening in the wicks. Are the wicks more buying or more selling? This is pretty hard to see on the 1 hour. But let's go ahead and switch it to let this load up. No, I don't want a volume profile. I want. I had this all loaded up. TPO2. No, TPO2 or TPO1. Let me just pop out the other. This is what the single prints look like. Candlesticks are off. So basically, the market, you know, this is today. The A period's the first 30 minutes, B period's the next 30 minutes, C, D, E. I'm sure it goes up to H. So when we see a single print, which is this pink box, and this is the overnight one, we'll see price just go through it once. So price only went through it once. So overall, looking through what we did, motive, I gotta change this. You can tell here's that breakout, that single print I was showing you guys that we hit to the basically to the tick. We took out that first one, and then this is the second one. On the way up, we do have some. I think this day we had 6. Of course, I think 4 got taken out, but we have a good chance of all those being held. So using that statistic does help us go higher. This is overnight. I don't really take overnight into consideration, but you know, to the upside, 4474 was that main VPOC, that or NVPOC, the naked volume point of control. So kind of we're in no man's land. You can tell we're kind of consolidating, kind of at the highs. So I'm kind of interested in what we're going to do going forward. What else we could look at? Some tricks I like to learn on here. I kind of show them, or I'll say it. I kind of look for kind of what the volume looks like, especially going into pre-market. You tell, look at this. This was Sunday night. That was today, and that's so far tonight. So what did we do overnight? We were basically balanced. Nice D shape profile right here. Volume, D shape. This is what the market wants it, you know, overall to look like. Today, we had that little shoot down. We're pretty much balanced. So that's what I always like to look for. Balance versus imbalance. Overnight, it's like this, balanced. Balanced. B shape. The B shape just showing a lot of something's happening down here. So when I see a B shape profile, I kind of want to see kind of push up. When all the volume's happening at the lows, always keep that keep that on watch. B shape means add a volume node here, volume node here. Basically what I do is kind of box out the middle. And like if we are able to break that low volume node here, we should head back up here, consolidate, let the market decide if it wants to move up or if it wants to move back down there. There's that B shape. Kind of wick up, wick low, but most of it kind of towards the bottom. And then you can tell the next couple days we go up. B shape here. Took a little bit low. Continue up. So it's just overall, you know, using this is just so overall trying to figure out where the volume comes in. When I see this with the POC at the high, volume at the high, I'm kind of a little wary of going long. This actually did not hold its single print. Filled it, pushed up, closed here. Let's kind of be just rambling on. You guys got any questions? Only a few, y'all. They still want me to do a class, so let's go ahead and do it. Let's kind of see what the market's doing right now. Of course, only futures are open. Europe's open. I'm probably gonna just possibly find one trade to do. Go back to charts. Basically watching, you know, we're kind of chopping into, you know, we had this breakout level. I'm not pushing the button. There we go. Kind of this breakout level, we're kind of holding. Broke below, broke above. Kind of watching this, and of course, we get to the highs. Definitely going to be watching. We had a pretty big reaction to the highs up here, which of course 4,500 I think might take a few attempts to get through. But I think once we get through it, we should be looking good. But overall, this, I think we have FOMC minutes Wednesday. Kind of look on a weekly what we're doing. Let's go to ES1. You know, on the weekly, I mean, just mark up this level. I mean, once we were finally able to break over that, we seem to kind of go off the races with the adjustment of the contract. Weekly, we're pretty balanced to the upside. Let's see our fib low to fib high. 786 would probably be our next 46, 46. So I'm definitely watching 46, 46. So we do have a decent continuation up. NQ. This thing's gone. NQ's crazy. Let's see, it's swing low to swing high. And we're actually, look at that. That 0.618 broke above. Retest that. What does that look like? So 0.618 swing low to swing high last Monday held perfectly. I need to start drawing more fibs. I feel like fibs are pretty decent. You know, overall, we were on the daily just kind of flagging above. Not really above anywhere, but NQ is full strength. Main thing to watch is Apple still going to get volume at the highs. Of course, semis. Our semis finally gonna get a little bit more recovery. Of course, these things have been completely crazy since the lows, but you can tell they kind of got hit a little bit. A little bit of sector rotation going on. Tesla, decent move, huge gap up today. I want to see if Tesla does hold this previous. I mean, if you guys just do fibs on swing lows to swing highs, I mean, that was a pretty solid buy right there. That's something I want to do on debit spreads. Where would our PT be? Well, let's see our swing high to swing low. Breaking through to 0.5, looking at 0.618. Let's see what this is. So we kind of broke above. Of course, the only issue that 0.618 rejected pretty well. Kind of fibs are a little subjective. Depends on what swing low to swing high you want. We go through some different tickers. If you do play options, look into coin. This thing's been beast. Start looking for banks to be rotated, which should help the strength in ES. If banks start getting rotated into, kind of see NQ kind of cool off. I think Riot and Mara went. Yeah, Riot went today. Let's look at oil. Oil, we had a nice, I think 2 weeks ago, we had this bear flag. We bear flagged into I think a 4 hour supply. And then went down. I really wanted to look to go long on oil. It was right here. But we kind of just been breaking out. So this level is not the best for me. And we're basically in it right now, but a couple false breakouts, a couple false breakdowns. Definitely I'm starting to swing a little bullish on oil due to, when elections start rolling around. Well, we'll have a run up and then we'll have the fake gas sell off into elections where gas prices go down for, the candidate to stay in office. Pretty much that's a pretty decent level though. But that's gonna do it for me. Nothing really happened today. Market's closed tomorrow. Definitely be back full force Monday. Have a great one.